I'm at Katomi's house holding an armload of tools. White paint, paint thinner, rust-proofing chemicals, a paintbrush, a wire brush, sandpaper. I was at the paint store at 8 in the morning buying all of this stuff. I said I wanted to paint a garden chair, and the clerk told me what I needed and how to do it. Of course, this time I prepared a change of clothes and work clothes. Thought about everything when I got home last night. I made up my mind. No more indecision. I'll do everything I can. The steps I'm taking are that important. That's what I've decided to believe. The garden is just as I left it yesterday. Naturally, one night isn't enough for the grass to get overgrown again. But looking at it with fresh eyes, I can tell what a terrible job I'm doing. I have to do everything properly if I want to finish in time for Katomi's birthday. I moved the chairs and table to a corner of the garden. I assessed the table's conditions. In my memories, it's painted bright white. The table's paint is now flaking off and rust is everywhere. Exposed metal is showing in lots of places. I take the wire brush and scrape off the large patches of rust. Smaller patches of rust get the sandpaper. When the bare metal starts to appear, I apply the rust-proofing chemicals. I'm completely immersed in the work. It takes me about an hour to finish rust-proofing the table. While it dries, I start on a chair. I initially thought these would be easier because they're smaller, but their complicated shapes make them even harder to deal with. The second chair gets the same treatment with sandpaper before I finish the rust-proofing it. I decide to trim the hedges and trees while the chairs dry. I take the hedge clippers to a branch and squeeze with all my might. Hear a snapping sound, a lot of green leaves fall from the ground. While I continue to work near the edge of the garden, I see something. Oops. Something hits my fingertips as I'm weeding and I jump backward. At first I think it is stone, but it's dirty blackened brick. Bricks buried in the soil form a ring-shaped barrier blocking off the weeds. I get it. And part of the scab in my middle mind flakes away, some memories return. This is a flower bed. Many varieties of color, full of flowers filled the area. I feel like I just discovered the ruin of an ancient city. I remove the overgrown weed. Small bug scurries away, frightened by the light suddenly shining on it. Once the rust-proofing dries, it's time for the paint. I open the can of paint and dip the brush into it. Try to apply the paint as evenly as possible. The sky is clear. It's the perfect day for painting. It makes me want to whistle while I work. I never imagined I would spend a Sunday painting in a garden. The legs of the chairs are spotty from the rust proofing. Returning them to pure whiteness with the new paint is a great feeling. If Katomi were here, it'd be all the more fun. Well, she's probably just getting in the way. She'd mess with the tools and get covered in paint. Can already see it happening. There's no need to hurry. Katomi will get her chance to do some gardening. 3 p.m. Finished painting the chairs and the table. I worked really carefully and they came out great. If I do say so myself, not bad at all. I also want to return the garden to its former glory. But to do that, I need to do more about gardening. I need to know more. Okay. While grinning at satisfaction at a white chair, my stomach growls. I decide to head to the station for food. Katomi, are you getting enough to eat? I call to the window on the second floor. Naturally, no answer. Don't care if she's hiding somewhere while watching me. Going out for a bit, I'll be back. You should get something to eat too. Change out of my paint splattered clothes and get ready to go. The town is unchanging. The babbling of the crowds and the exhaust of the cars. The store signs and the window display food flood my senses. It feels like it came from a different world that smells of earth, grass, and paint. I head to the bookstore first. I skim some books in the gardening section. Every single page has a lot of useful information. I learned that the way I sharpened the clippers was totally wrong. Moreover, the clippers are for hedge trimming and not for cutting grass. It says here that grass shouldn't be cut without planting. Rotted patches should be replaced. I'm doing everything wrong. I'm at a loss. I buy a beginner's book on gardening and one on garden flowers. Then I walk over to the usual fast food shop. I get a burger combo with a coffee and find a place to sit. Delving into the books, I start making a list of all the things I need to buy and do. By the time I leave, dusk is approaching. I go to an ATM and draw everything in my accounts. This is the money I saved up to get out of the damned house. In the end, I never got a chance to spend it and completely forgot I had it. And I want to thank my delinquent self. Next up is the hardware store. It's close enough to walk to, but I don't have much time, so I had to take the bus from the station. I had to walk quickly at the edge of the sidewalk. A bench on the other side of the street catched my eye. 3 female students wearing school uniforms are sitting down on it. Going to school on a Sunday. Wait, the Founders Festival ceremony is today. I wonder what Furukawa and the others are doing. One of them turned around on the bench and sees me. Okazaki-san. Oh. What are you doing here? You guys. I run over to them, but they're still seated when I get there. Something seems wrong. One side of the bench is a familiar violin case. Isn't that the violin from the other day? You borrowed it again? No one answers. I notice that there's something wrong with the case. The hinge is coming off and the latch is bent. I pick it up and open the lid. Whoa. I groan in surprise. The violin is cracked in half. The neck part of the string is completely separated from the body. The front side of the body is scraped up and split open. What happened to it? Still no answer. When I try to ask one more time, Q answers, her head still down. I wanted to give it to Katomi as a present. I start to understand what happened as she explains. The 3 of them want to do something for Katomi on their own. With the help of Nishina from the choral club, they found the original owner of the violin. Finally managed to get in touch with her today. The owner is a former member of the choral club and completely forgot about banding the violin there. She said she didn't have use for it anymore, so we could have it. We even got the music club to agree to it. The 3 were so happy and wanted to get the violin polished up. We talked to Nishina-san and she suggested that we have someone do some maintenance work on it. So we all pitched in and decided to go to a shop. Furukawa and Fujibayashi must have been really happy. They were walking across the street totally carefree and unaware while holding the violin case. Suddenly a motorcycle ran a red light and flew by them. Furukawa and Fujibayashi almost got hit. Motorcycle actually clipped the case, causing it to open midair. Violin's down against the ground. To be clear, it's 100% the biker's fault. The club president and Ryu aren't to blame at all. Q's attempt at cheering them up falls on deaf ears. The 2 are still completely dejected. Where's the biker? I tried to follow him, but he was long gone. If I had a metal pipe, I would have stuck it through the tire spokes. Made him fall on his face, beat him down with his motorcycle. Hold it. Going that far would be considered homicide. He ran a red light. It's attempted murder. It'd be justified. You know, I can't imagine a situation where you'd have a metal pipe handy in the first place. I'll be quiet. Still, unable to think of a good joke to ease the situation, I just look up at the sky. First a bus, now a motorcycle. They said that when it rains it pours, but why now of all times? I'm sorry. If only I had been more alert, this wouldn't have happened. You 2 feel way too responsible. Stop being depressed. I'm just glad that none of you were hurt. Seriously, if anything happened, the present would be the least of our worries. He tries to cheer them up again, and Furukawa and Fujibayashi finally look up. Then he let the music shop guy take a look at it, and asked us while pointing at the violin case. That's why we're feeling down. Q morosely mumbles to herself. We asked the person in the instrument shop over there whether it could be fixed. And then Oni-chan got into a fight with him. And said his fault, he was taking advantage of us by trying to sell us a new one. You mean the one on clearance for 140,000 yen? I think the violin in the store wouldn't do well asking. He said that the fixing this one would cost even more than that. Just for the repairs. The saving there withdrew couldn't even begin to cover it. He must be talking out of his butt just to get us to buy a new one. Says that confidently, but even as an amateur, I can see the truth. Considering how badly this one is damaged, I don't think it's out of place to recommend a new one. Get it right, even 100 million yen violin wouldn't hold the same billing. Katomi has to have this violin. Everyone goes silent again. We all know Q's right. Katomi took such a great care of this old instrument in the short time she had it. If she heard that it had been destroyed, how would she react? Don't even want to think about it. But really, what should we do? Q mumbles to herself while staring at the ground. give up. Say that to them. They all look at me. You don't know that it can't be fixed. But the instrument guy said it would be difficult. Let's give it another shot. Carefully pick up the case with the broken lid. Whether or not it can be fixed, we can't just leave it like this. Those words come out naturally. The end result isn't important. If I don't do everything I can right now, I'll definitely regret it later. Ryu and Furukawa placed their hands on the tattered violin case. Please let us carry it. We definitely won't drop it again. I nod and hand over the case. Oh, fine. Alright, I'll put up one more fight. No, I don't want you to fight, please. Just keep quiet. Pace of the conversation returns to normal. Smiles are also returning to their faces. I remember my role. That's right. This is how it should be. If they're not smiling, Katomi will be even sadder. The owner of the instrument shop is just as stubborn as Q. I have a cheaper one if you're looking for a beginner's violin. I'll even give you a discount. What's the big deal with this broken one? But, it has to be this violin. Very important. Ryu and Furukawa tried their best to explain, and kept it in pretty horrible shape for something so important. We have our own crap to deal with. Don't talk like you know our business. Let me go. Whose side are you on? Just calm down. Q's ready to attack like a pit bull. They have to rein her in. This is a gift, and we're not the original owners, and we need to give it as a gift to a close friend the day after tomorrow. She really likes this violin. If you're giving a gift, then I recommend the one you know. The one that you know the history of. He opens the catalog and points at the beginner's violin. See, this one's affordable, and Furukawa shakes her head and stops the explanation she must have heard numerous times already. Other violins don't have the same meaning. We'll work something out with the repair cost. Please. Continues for about an hour. Owner finally caves. If you insist, then I'll hold on to it. Prepare an estimate. If you're gonna bother repairing it, it won't be ready for the day after tomorrow. Sure you want to go ahead with it? How long will it take? 2 months at the earliest. Way too slow. Cut us a deal and make it 2 days. That's impossible. Just shut up. Even after being repaired, it will never sound the same. I'll make sure it goes to a reputable workshop in its condition. Can't make any guarantees. He looks at the broken violin like it's a lost cause. No one can say anything. By the time we leave the store, it's already dark out. This is so annoying. Q's still mad. It'll never sound the same. Bull! Who the hell does he think he is? What did he know? As the owner of the instrument store, he probably knows a lot. It's gotta be a third-rate shop with an owner like that. I'd go somewhere else if there's another option. You're talking crazy now. What's crazy about that? There's nothing in this world you can't fix as long as you try hard enough. How great the world would be if that were true. Anyway, we have to wait for the estimate. Wonder how much it'll cost. Don't worry about it. I'll set up a donation drive at school if it comes to that. If we leave it to you, it won't be a donation drive. It'll be extortion. I won't mind if you want to foot the whole bill yourself, you know. I would if I could. Actually, so would I. Furukawa murmurs something under her breath. July at the earliest. He goes silent again. Silence just spreads to the rest of us like it's contagious. The violin is broken. It won't be fixed in time for Katomi's birthday. Don't even know if it'll be the way it was before. It's the end result of 3 girls trying to do something for Katomi. Deep, deep sigh. Why don't things ever work out right? The town is bustling in the early evening. People are laughing as they stroll through the evening air, now free of humidity. I look up to see a clear night sky. Silver stars glittering here and there between wisps of clouds. There are so many people in this world. Why is it so difficult to make just one of them happy? It's midnight. May darkness feels sticky. Insects are incessantly chirping. The grass smells of the evening dew. I'm still digging in the dirt. The goal is to replace the soil of the flower bed. There's no light here. What little I can see is due to the starlight. I stick the shovel in the dirt and pull my weight into it. Crunch. It feels like I'm digging up a corpse. The memories of my childhood are probably buried under here. I wipe away the sweat and turn to look at the house. The roof is high off the ground, as if hovering above me. Glints of light reflect off the jet black mirror-like windows. Is Katomi asleep? Can she sleep right now? Is she having a bad dream? I have no answers. I glare at the darkness and keep digging. All the worries I kept trapped inside during the day are inching their way up my body, starting from the soles of my shoes. When I find out that all of this was for nothing, not a single thing I believe in comes to pass, what will I do then? Will I be able to withstand it? I don't know. The darkness whispers to me. None of it will come back. What was broken will never heal. The dead will never return. Now is the time to quit. This isn't something other people can help with. Only time will solve this. Only time. Instead of answering, I keep digging. You're no fun. After spitting out that remark, the voice disappears. I finish digging up the dirt in the flower bed, throw down the shovel and lie on the grass. Darkness seems thicker. Morning is supposedly on its way, but I have no idea where it is. The smell of the earth fills the air while I try to catch my breath. In the cloudless sky, I see a cluster of stars that resemble tips of needles, all bundled together. I can see many more stars here in the town than in the town, as if playing to the soundless melody that they twinkle in the sky. My eyelids feel heavy, and I'm tempted to close them. The stars blur and appear to come closer to me. I open my eyes wide, and the stars go back to the original distance. I play this little game for a while. One of the stars falls onto the grass. What the? Get up from the grass. A light is floating above the cut grass, as small as a bean. A firefly? And transient flickering as if it wants to tell me something. It's weightless. I can't even tell if it's warm or cold. All I know is that it exists. Light in the purest form. If I had to compare it to something, I'd say it's like a fragment of a star. Is this a dream? Is this an omen or an afterimage? The light soon dims. Unknowingly, I reach out. I wake up to the sound of birdsong. Upon opening my eyes, a bright blue sky fills my vision. My bed feels prickly and cold. I feel around and find nothing but wet grass. Why was I sleeping here? That's right, I'm in Gatomi's garden. I feel like I was dreaming. The tail of the dream slips through my grasp and just as I'm about to catch it. Oh well, I let a big yawn and stretch. Despite having slept outdoors, I feel rested. I squint in the morning sun as I look up at Katomi's house. As usual, it looks deserted. Good morning, Katomi. And I look around the garden work in progress. I really need to finish it up today. Time to get started. Stand up. My first job of the day is to trim the garden trees. For reference to the book I bought yesterday, I start by using the hedge clippers. The trees don't come out as nicely as if a pro had done it, but they looked much different with shorter branches. After trimming down the branches that were sticking out, more light is getting through the garden. I can hear some kids, maybe in kindergarten or elementary school, chatting on their way to school. I hear the noise of a truck engine pull up near the hedge. I put down the clippers and head to the front. Just as I thought, it's a truck bearing the hardware store's logo. The tall guy, assumed to be the driver, is looking at the nameplate in front of the house. Hello. You're Okazaki-san, correct? Yes, that's right. My name is different than the one on the nameplate, which explains his confusion. I'm here to deliver the stuff you purchased yesterday. Can you drop them off inside the gate and I'll carry them the rest of the way? I take a break after bringing the stuff to the corner of the garden. Leaf mold, fertilizer, flour, bag with additional tools and accessories. After parting with Q and the others yesterday, I spent all of my savings on these things. I mixed and matched the different types of flowers I found in the garden section. Even in their plastic pots, their colors are bringing life back to the garden. Using a hose, I draw some water from the faucet, scrub down the dirty bricks with the water, Then I lay down the leaf mold. I mix it with the soil dug up last night, then till it with the spade. I'll let it sit in the sun for a while. The next step is some lawn maintenance. I don't have time to lay new sod, so I decide just to mow the existing grass. Change out the lawnmower's blades and oil them up. Starting at the edge of the lawn, I push the lawnmower with all my strength. Loud rumbling sound as the tires and blades starts to spin. A shower of grass kicks up in the air, spewing in the receptacle. I don't know how many times I walk back and forth mowing the entire lawn. The garden looks really different now that the grass is trimmed. It looked so gloomy up to now, but it suddenly seems much brighter. The last thing to work on is the flower bed. Take the flowers in the pots and plant them one by one, keeping color coordination in mind. The bricks draw a gently sloping curve. The blooming flowers of early summer give off fresh fragrances and colors. The open space with its clean-cut grass. In the middle of it all is a bright white table and 2 garden chairs. I feel a strange sense of confirmation, as if the jigsaw pieces of my dreams are sliding into place. I forget everything and immerse myself in gardening. Late in the afternoon, my work is done. The garden is back to how it used to be. The precious place where Katomi and I first met. I can't believe that I actually finished it. The types of flowers of the length of the grass might not be exactly right, but still I did everything I could. I don't think anything's missing. Wait, yes, there is. One large and very important piece is still missing. In order for it all to come together, all I can do now is wait. I just realized I'm insanely tired. It's a comfortable sort of exhaustion. I feel like I could sleep for days, but I can't sleep just yet. Now that the garden is back to the way it used to be, there are other things to do. Go to a garden chair, which now looks just like it does in my memories. Poke with the seat to make sure the paint is dry, and then I slowly sit down. Put on my jacket and rummage around in my pocket. Inside is the book that Katomi entrusted to me. It's a book with the leather cover. Like some old and worn dictionary, the edges of the pages are curled. I open the cover to take a look inside. The faded pages have a color similar to baked bread, and the book is worm-eaten in many places. Why did Katomi tell me not to read it? The answer must be inside. Sorry, Evan, I'm gonna read it. I whispered that to suppress the small pangs of guilt I'm feeling. I turned to the inside cover and started reading. It seems like a collection of short stories. Possibly because the book is translated from another language. It's far from an easy read. I skimmed through the first few stories and move on to another one. It appears to be a story about a girl who says she's from the future, who meets a middle-aged man. See, when I look up from the pages, I let out a big yawn. I'm extremely sleepy. It must be because of how comfortable the garden is. I try to return my attention to the book. I realized that the book was slipped from my fingers onto my lap. The gentle wind flips through the pages. Unable to bear it anymore, I close my eyes. A soft sense of sleepiness wraps around my head. A distant memory washes over me like a high tide. Back then. That's right, I was with Katomi. No, that's not true. The book was newer, bigger, and had a nicer binding. A low tide arrives to sweep me away, and my consciousness fades. Day before yesterday, I saw a rabbit. Gradually, I forget where I am and what day it is. Yesterday, a deer. I sense that I'm very close to being swept away into sleep. That's right. It's not that the book was bigger. We were smaller. I got lost. It's because the usual field I played at became off limits for some reason. All the neighborhood kids started looking for a new place to play. Before I knew it, I was all alone. I was in an unfamiliar residential area. As a child, I felt like I was in another country. Feeling dusk creeping up behind me, I walked faster. Just as I was on the verge of running, I heard a strange noise coming from behind a tall hedge. It was a noise I'd never heard before, but I felt nostalgic for some reason. Drawn by the noise, I looked for a way to pass the hedge. I found an opening in the leaves and stiff branches and pushed my way through. It was a beautiful garden. Uniformly cut grass and bright white patio set. The flower bed was overflowing with flowers whose names I didn't know. Even the dust couldn't even enter the place. It struck me as a special place that would forever remain unchanged. As I was about to turn around to bring everyone else there, I saw a girl I didn't know. She was staring at me while holding a violin and bow. After we exchanged a few words, she awkwardly smiled at me. She and I became friends. After that, I went to visit her house almost every day. Lots of sun from the garden shone on the floor of her living room. I could smell the lingering fragrance of a tobacco pipe. The smell of Daddy's tobacco. Even as a child, it seemed high class to me. It was different from what the other adults smoked. She enjoyed playing the house most. Playing house with her was a little different. She pointed at a name, and named each of the dishes with her chubby finger. After that, she placed her palms together. Let us eat. Let's eat. Please help yourself. She made a big deal out of it and stared at me. Say ah. Picked up the food with some disposable chopsticks and held it out in front of me. When I didn't put it in my mouth, she looked like she was about to cry. I can't eat this. The fuse was made out of clay. No fair, you have to eat it too, Katomi-chan. Here's your half, Katomi-chan. Put a lot of clay cooking under a paper plate. Yes, this is my half. Halvesies with Tomoe-kun. Gave with a big smile. In the end, I never told my other friends about that garden. And I really liked playing in a large group anyway. I wanted to keep this secret all to myself. When it was nice out, we played in the garden. We'd run around barefoot on the lawn and play tag or hide and seek. There were too few people for tag, and she'd always be on the verge of tears if I found a great hiding spot. There were many different kinds of flowers blooming in the small flower bed. She knew the names of all of them. This is a California poppy. This is a begonia. This is a pansy. This one is chrysanthemum paludus. Also called the North Pole. Her mother was in the garden hanging up the laundry, gently taught us. She was wearing her usual bright white apron. She was always smiling. I was envious. This is what I wanted the most in the world. Say, Katomi-chan, since the weather's so nice, why don't you go play outside with Tomoe-kun? Katomi always looks trouble whenever she was told to do that. But we're already outside. This is just our garden, isn't it? Garden is outside, but it's outside. She wouldn't budge. Her mother sighed and looked into Katomi's face. Outside means beyond the hedge. The outside world is very big and has lots of stuff you've never seen before, Katomi-chan. It's scary, so I don't want to. It's not scary at all. I say that as someone who came from outside. That's right. Tomoe-kun is a really good boy. Katomi-chan is a bad girl. I'm not a bad girl. I want to go outside, but I'll do it next time. After she said that, her mother burst out laughing. I didn't understand what was so funny. Well, let's have a snack time. She brought us a freshly baked sponge cake and some mysterious tea that smelled like flowers. My mommy made this. Very good. Let us eat. Let's eat. After feeding her, I picked a slice in the middle. Tomoe-kun, the one at the end tastes best. Said that with more confidence than when she recited the flower names. On cold days, we read together. I knew right away that she was different from the other kids. She easily read books with difficult words and kanji characters. It's hard to write, but reading is easy. Her smile was tinged with pride when she said that. Her favorite book was this brand new, really nice looking book with a brown leather cover. She said her father bought it for her when she entered elementary school. I found it boring because it was too difficult to read. It's not interesting? Noticing that I wasn't having any fun, she asked me that while tilting her head to one side. I don't get it. It's the same for me. My daddy told me to read lots of books. This is too hard. He said that it doesn't matter if I don't understand it yet. He said I'll understand one day. He said it's because there's lots of stuff I still have to learn. I want to read all the books in this world. If I can learn lots of stuff, that would be very, very wonderful. Don't you think so, Tomoe-kun? Yeah, I guess. Smiled at me despite my half-hearted answer. She really looked happy. No, I know. I've got an idea. Let's just read the wonderful parts. We'll read them again and again until we memorize them, and then someday we can think of them even without the book. Let's start from the beginning. Starts reading her favorite parts awkwardly. I tried to follow along. I feel like a terrible student. She was diligent and kept trying to teach me again and again. I'll have a birthday party soon, told me with that setting sun shining on her cheeks. We were tired from playing and were sitting down looking at the garden. I want you to come to Tomoe-kun. How many people will be there? I don't want to meet people I didn't know. There'll be 4 people, she said that proudly. Tomoe-kun, me, Mommy, and... who was the last one? Daddy. You don't call that a party. Told her that, secretly feeling relieved. Parties have a lot more people. Started looking sad after I said that. No. But it's still a birthday party. Daddy said he'll give me a giant teddy bear. Mommy said she'll make it a huge feast. And I have to go home soon. It was getting dark out and I stood up. Maybe it was because I felt envious as she spoke so proudly of her parents. Put on my shoes and socks, then walked across the garden. Tomoe-kun, see you tomorrow. She said that to me as usual. I might not come tomorrow. And just as usual, that's how I responded. She looked straight at me and seemed to be thinking about something. You don't have to come tomorrow, huh? That was the first time she said something like that. I'll try to be okay even if you don't come tomorrow. Please come to my birthday party. You don't really have to. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting.